Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the FauxShow. Today is Thursday, March 7th. My name is Angela.
And my name is Allan.
And as most of you know, the FauxShow is not a real show. In fact, tonight it's a FauxSNAP because I don't look at you. I look at the chat room, which I have here on my iPad.
And it's over here.
It's over there on a monitor where we can see ourselves.
And it's on my laptop, too, which is new.
And it's full screen on his screen.
Yes.
But it is in the best lower third on the internet. There it is. And they are ready for this episode.
Yep.
You guys have been asking for a FauxSNAP ever since I did a Linux Action Faux,
Yep.
which was quite a few episodes. I think that was like 102 or something.
Yeah, it's well.
So, yeah. All right. Well, we're going to get started. This is going to be like a lighthearted tech snap. I do have background in some administrative stuff.
Yep.
Wait, systems
Administration.
Yes, that. So, but we're going to start with your topic.
Yes. So when we've done some stuff on TechSnap before, we talked about, every time one of these giant lists of passwords get leaked from like LinkedIn or whatever, we always kind of make fun of some of the really bad passwords people use. But in this case, I've actually cut out the top 1,000 passwords from a list of over 19 million passwords.
Do you want me to show it?
Yep. And we're going to not just talk about what some of the top ones are, but how people end up using that as their password and figuring out what the patterns are so that we can you can do a better job trying to guess what some of the people's passwords are. And I think it'll be pretty fun.
Yeah.
So just some stats on the data I used to compile this. It was, if you remember from the episode of TechSnap, I basically stumbled on a hacker's drop of all of his files, right?
Yeah,
it wasn't a Dropbox, but yeah, and it was quite a few episodes ago. But
yeah, like two or so months ago, or 3 months, and you had to wait to announce it.
I had to wait a while to announce it, but I think I announced it in October or November.
Oh, that was a while ago. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But so basically, the dump included 19 million usernames and passwords from a bunch of different websites and databases. That's a lot.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, out of a database of over 19 million usernames and passwords, there were almost 12 million unique passwords. But that means that 40% of the people used a password that at least one other person was using.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. That's ridiculous. People need to stop doing it. Because even if it was the same person having two accounts on two different services that got in the list twice, and that was, it was a unique password, but it was used in two places, you shouldn't use your password in two places. You should have a unique password for each different service.
Oops.
Although that would be hard. Well, that's what LastPass is
I know.
for. But yeah.
I know. Yeah.
Even I am guilty of using the same password in a couple places.
You know what's funny about that is that my Twitter got hacked like a couple months ago, and I barely use it, but that password was everywhere.
Yep. And that's why you have to avoid.
So I had to go change it all to the same password. Every single one of them.
Yeah. That's why it's nice to have something like LastPass that'll manage it for you.
Huh. Okay, so do you want to talk about any of these?
Yeah, sure. There's quite a few in there, but if we just look at the top of the list, you can see that there's some obvious ones like people just did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and so on.
Password, which tends to be a default password that you're supposed to change.
Yeah.
Control Alt Delete people, and you know.
And so there's lots of variations here. There's
password.
like 1 through 8, 1 through 9, 1 through 9 plus 0.
I love you. That's
yes,
cute.
I love you. That's always been a top password.
Real? I didn't know that.
Like, if you ever watched the movie Hackers, which came out in like the 90s or even 80s or whatever, they tell you the password's like I love you and God, and there's a couple like that. Now, a lot of those are too short for what we would use now. Although I've seen a couple in here like love is too short now, so they just put love. They just put the word twice.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. I see. Superman.
Yeah. And that's some of the other ones we see in here. Like
password 1. That is to get around the fact that everything requires like a capitalize or a number or whatever. Yeah. So that one requires a number.
But also some interesting ones in here like princess. I didn't expect princess to be
number 6.
The 6th most popular password in this database.
Wow. Yeah. Well, because everybody has a dog or a daughter.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and then there's like QWERTY 1, 2, 3, but I also saw on here not too far down is the second row of the keyboard instead, right? A, S, D, F, G, H, J, K, etc. But some other trends we see here are
what's this one?
Which one?
F, X, Z?
Yeah, that one, I'm not sure why that one showed up so often. It looks like a fairly strong password. It's a bunch of random stuff, and it has a $sign in it and a bunch of numbers. Different casing. But apparently it showed up 9,000 times.
That's really weird.
I think it might have been a bot or something that was making fake accounts on one of the sites that got hacked.
Oh, sure.
Or something. But yeah, it's really strange that one showed up that many times in the list.
Yeah.
And we also see things like Well, we see at the top there was like football, baseball, and a couple other sports were in here. But yeah, also girls' names.
Yeah.
Like you see there's Michelle, Jennifer, Samantha.
I'm sorry, but all
Christian, Jonathan, Alexander. There's boys' names as well. Elizabeth, Danielle, Nicholas.
Yeah.
Victoria, etc. And it seems that one of the trends is people using like their girlfriend or boyfriend's name, or even their own name, but less likely.
Yeah.
Or also
Pakistan? Really?
well, there are a lot of people from Pakistan apparently just use that as a password. But also a lot of parents will use their kid's name as well.
Yeah, right.
Or actually, my grandfather used his granddaughter's name or great granddaughter's name.
Yeah. One time, so we use Geek Shed for our IRC, the lower third there. And the first time that I registered my nick and I went to identify, I actually had successfully set up my client to automatically identify myself. And I didn't realize because I was new. And so I did this, slash nick. Yeah.
But you had a space in front of it?
No. I was already
just
identified, and then I typed the command to identify, and it just posted it in the chat room.
See, normally that only happens if you start with a slash, it goes to the server, not the chat room. But if you have a space in front of the slash, then it screws up.
Or I type /nick or instead of nick serve or something like that. I don't know. Yeah. But the point is, Dill Abbey was my password, and it just right there for everybody to see. And I was like, oh, good thing that's the only place I used that.
Exactly. Yep.
So.
But then some of the other things we saw were sports teams. Like we saw football, baseball, etc., and those are very popular. But also we see like Liverpool, which is a famous football team. Liverpool is 20.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
There we go.
It was 24 is basketball, but there was also a bunch of other sports teams in here a little further down.
Look at this one. It's like, how obvious would that be? Yeah.
Keyboard. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
it's like.
How obvious would that be?
And the people that use it aren't the people that would know to drag their finger. They would press each
right.
And so, like, if you're sitting beside someone or, like, in a library or something, you're watching them, it's like, oh, I know what your password is now.
Exactly. Yeah, I see people unlock their iPhones like, okay, I know. You're our IT guy. I know your password now.
Exactly.
And
then with chocolate. Home 0401, that one seems a little strange for it to be that common.
Yeah.
Trust no one. That one's kind of funny. Because if you don't trust anyone, you should have a stronger password.
Right? Yeah, yay, you got a number in there with the word, but still.
Also, the internet is the password to your internet.
Yep.
Also, cartoon characters are very popular. I see Pooh Bear. There was like SpongeBob. Spider-Man. One of the password lists was from LinkedIn. So job search. People are like, oh, I'm going to go register at LinkedIn. So I'm going to use... the word job being in the password was really popular. There's a whole bunch of passwords with the word job in them.
I'm so guilty of that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh.
That and FTW. Job, FTW.
Yeah. Also, band names are very popular. Like we see Blink-182, Metallica, and then more sports teams, Steelers,
Deleted.
Carolina.
That is hilarious. With dashes on each side. That's pretty creative.
I think that might have been... from the list of passwords leaked on LinkedIn, and somebody actually deleted a bunch of the passwords and marked them such, and then when this guy imported the list, that happened. But people might actually use that as a password as well.
Oh, okay.
There's also the car they want, like Corvette.
Yep. Yeah, they want. You're just assuming they don't have it.
Yeah, if you're using it as your password, you probably don't have it.
Right.
Tinkerbell, more...
password with a 0.
Yep. Snickers, which I guess could be your dog, but it's most likely the chocolate bar.
Right.
More girls' names. Patricia, Courtney.
Angelica. Their Slipknot band. Wow, that's really crazy.
Or something like that.
There's
a bunch of...
Garfield.
Yeah, and more cartoon
Coca-Cola.
Dolphins, Isabella, Savannah. Some of these names just don't
there's
seem
Love.
Yep. And there's Lover Boy.
Woo!
Have a high opinion of yourself.
Is that a woman's password?
No, I doubt it. No, I think it's some guy that thinks too highly of himself.
Okay.
Sunflower, Sebastian, Rockstar. Somebody thinks they're a rock star.
Password all caps.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Hello
good.
Kitty. Barcelona is another sports team.
What is with... Oh, no? I was going to say maybe it's Pi, 1415, but no. Yeah. I don't know.
No.
That's kind of random.
I think it's a pattern.
8675309 might be... 147258. 369.
Yeah, it's the pattern of playing on the number pad.
It's the pattern of the number.
Also, I wonder how many people use Google Checkout with the password gcheckout. Because I want to know all of them so I can steal all their credit cards.
Gosh, that's dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, because remember, this was multiple websites. This wasn't just one. So
also, for the people that don't approve of I love you as a password, there's I hate you.
That's funny.
Yeah. Las Vegas, teddy bear, Hollywood, children, all these. There's a lot of really silly passwords on here.
I like number 176.
Was that? Oh, shit. Or happiness and Skittles and Michigan.
Wow.
Sweetheart. Employment. It's probably another LinkedIn one.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, like, probably.
I'm going to get away from using keyboard patterns, so I'm going to use A, B, C, D, E.
I love you too.
Yes.
Nice.
San Diego, again, lots of sports teams on here. So if you have a sports team, or especially your favorite sports team as your password, I could probably figure that out just by seeing what the public information on like your G Plus or your Facebook. Right? It's like, oh, you keep cheering on this certain sports team, so I'm going to guess that your password might have something to do with that.
Yep.
And by looking at your Facebook or Twitter or G Plus or anything like that, I can find out a bunch of things like this about you. And then I just put all these keywords that I can think of and tags and hashtags and everything I can think of about you. And then I run it through a program like John the Ripper, and it will try permutations of it.
Oh,
adding numbers to the end automatically, replacing the O's with zeros and the L's with ones, and even the combinations you might think are making it better.
Yeah.
If the password has some connection to you, it's not necessarily a good password. Yep.
So I was blocked by a high school friend on Facebook because she posted this, hey, this is really fun. I want to know where all my friends are born. List your city and state. And she said, I was born in, and typed her city and state. And I responded and said, hey, this is a common phishing question.
Yep.
Anybody that responds to this is, gonna that is one of the biggest security questions that are on any website.
A lot of the websites like that.
Yeah.
It's like, what city were you born in?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, it's not where they currently live.
Right. And somebody had already responded other than the person that posted it. And she's like, oh, well, I don't use, my birth city as blah, blah, blah. So I'm not worried. And it's like, okay, really?
It's like,
no.
It's just,
but
I'm not trying to criticize you. I'm just saying you should be aware of the fact that you might not want to be just giving this information away.
Yeah, it escalated. She's like, well, I'm not trying to, and it was just like,
I'm not trying to accuse you of that. I'm just trying to inform you. But
so that your friends know.
Awesome password, cinnamon.
Yeah. All right. So
religious people, password is God bless.
God bless.
Or they sneeze a lot, one of the two.
Yeah. Okay. Was there okay. That pretty much wraps up the password thing, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the whole list is there. There's in the show notes. There'll be a link to the top 1,000 if you want to.
Yeah, if you want to look at the rest.
Make more fun of people.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Or choose your next password.
Yeah. Don't choose off that list.
Yeah, and actually, I can't remember. So I don't really watch TechSnaps.
Yeah.
But
but admittedly, a lot of sites should start using lists like this of common passwords and blocking you from using them.
Right.
Yes.
That'd be a great idea. I think I did a FauxShow on like one of my tech sites or one of my more tech related FauxShows about how your password, it's not better when you like insert symbols or zeros instead of O's. It's actually better if you use common words that are strung together.
If you use a whole bunch of words.
Normal words.
The words together shouldn't make a sentence. We talked about this on TechSNAP because a university project actually built a special password cracker that uses words but only uses them if they make sense together.
Oh, okay.
So basically, once you go to like 4 or 5 words, if you only consider if all 5 words have to work together to make like a grammatically correct sentence, by the time you're at 5 words, 80% of all the possible combinations you could make are gone. And if you get to 6 words, it's like 99.1% of all the possible combinations are gone. Because once you have 6 words, there's only a very limited number of words that could possibly come next. So they should be completely random words. Just easy to remember words. Like
go watch that Jim Carrey movie where he fills in that guy's mouth. I forgot. Anyway, okay.
Or horse battery staple correct.
What?
There's a XKCD comic where they describe this system.
Okay.
And his magic one was horse battery staple correct. And then there's a little animation, like a drawing of a horse looking at a battery with a staple in it, and he's like, correct.
I think I've seen that.
Yes, it's pretty funny.
Okay, so here's let's see. I think I'm just going to give like a brief background of my experience in the light IT that I've dealt with. So every job I've had, I have managed or implemented a proprietary software. And I am like talking all the way back to my very first job at McDonald's. I reprogrammed our registers, which weren't touch screens, because the buttons were in the wrong place for the branch that I was working at. And then after that, I worked in a medical supply company where I managed. It was a really stupid system called Mestimed, and it was really horrible. And we weren't getting support from the company anymore, and it was just such a piece of crap. But I was the go-to person for that. And then my job after that, I was actually the operations manager for an IT consulting company. And that gave me just a ridiculous wealth of of experience. And yeah, I just learned a lot from that. But one thing that I learned the most at that job is the billable time versus non-billable time. So at the consulting agency, the guys would have to have billable and non-billable time. And of course, billable time is better, but all clients want something for free. Like, always. Do you run into that?
Oh, yes. They always want little things for free. And they, oh, it was only 15 minutes. It's like, yeah, but if you interrupted me from doing something else, so you actually cost me an hour, even if I only bill you for 15 minutes that you used of the 15 minutes.
Yep. Or they won't like invite you to come on site because they want you to just answer over the phone because they're thinking that won't be a charge,
Right.
And at this company, they were still trying to figure out what the best method was for charging. And especially like if I was taking the phone call and I was able to troubleshoot it, which I did fairly often,
yeah,
the easier things, restart, is it plugged in, those types of things. Should that phone call be discounted or not? Or right. Anyway, it's always really hard. Chris Lutz says, preach it, Ange Paddle. Anyway, so in my current job, I buy raw stock materials. And we make mock-ups for the insides of Boeing planes. It's just like we're not using like flying grade materials. It's strictly for mock-up so they can see what it would look like. But anyway, you'd think, how on earth do you deal with billable and non-billable time? Well, Boeing's our client, so when I buy stuff for a project, I bill time. But what they did is they gave me all of the corporate purchases about a month and a half ago. And corporate purchases are not billable to anybody. It's internal time. And my boss asked me, why do you have so much internal time? Like literally half my time is internal now, and I used to be full-time billable. And it's like, like I put notes. I put exactly what I did. Is there anything wrong with my notes? Should I be putting more? What's going on? No, it's sufficient. It's fine. Thank you. And it's like, really? Do you, oh yeah, you have the...
I'm trying to find it, but it's not working.
Oh, that's interesting. That's not coming up that way.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, I tried typing the URL, but it didn't seem to want to work. It loads fine on my laptop.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. Technical difficulties.
Yeah. Fun. Well, that's okay. Yeah.
It helps if you type on the right keyboard too.
Well, you do have a couple in front of you.
Yeah.
Let's see. Roguy says all of his time is billable. Oddly, nobody hires me. Oh, thanks.
Yeah, that happens, I suppose.
Yep. Oh, and Rock Ross says that your password is I love BSD with hearts after it.
Sure.
That's funny. You guys are funny. Anyway, so it's always really hard because, clients or vendor, Why is that happening?
I don't know. I think I'm not typing it right, but I know for a fact.
It should come up typing vendor-client relationship. All right. Well, so I have a video that talks about like how people want things for free because that's just how it is.
Yeah.
But I will move on. So at this medical supply company that I got all my purchasing experience from and implemented that stupid program that I mentioned earlier, a salesman came by and had convinced the operations manager, which I was not, that was my goal. It just wasn't possible. Convinced her to buy a zip code on a website. Your store will be visible to this zip code and you can buy some surrounding zip codes. And it's like, dude, it's the World Wide Web. I don't need to buy a zip code, you know?
Right. Yeah, well, basically their plan here is that they can sell advertising on the site and they can sell it to each different zip code to a different company so they can make more money.
Oh.
It's a big scam.
Yeah.
And the geo-IP targeting they do isn't usually accurate to the zip code. It's barely accurate to the state most times.
Right.
So, yeah, they're basically just charging you money for something that's never going to give you any return.
Yeah, so I was rather passionate about not going with this guy. It seemed really bad.
Yep.
And it wasn't just that. Like, she kept running back to the owner, you know, oh, this is so cool, blah, 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 you know. And meanwhile, I'm talking to him trying to get more information. I get his business card, right? That's what I asked for. He digs one out and he says, oh, and here, I'll write my email address on it, right? He crosses off the email address on it and writes his. And then I said, oh, and I can reach you at this number. He's like, no, actually, that one's disconnected. You know, here's, and I'm like, and what about this fax number? No, that's not, like, nothing on your business card is accurate.
Yeah.
Why would I buy from you? And
Exactly.
and so I went to lunch. I left with the owner saying, no, we're definitely, you know, going to be doing this. And I pleaded my case and I left because I couldn't stay there anymore. And I came back and he's like, you know, you were right. And I was like, yeah, okay. All right. So what I think is really funny, I've only worked at really small companies until the one that I work at now, but every single one has a proprietary software that, like, seemingly one person in the world knows.
Right.
Right? At the IT consulting company, we had a company that I actually studied in college. It was really crazy. It was an operations management class, and we literally went on site and looked at how they, like, stock things and their processes, and their IT was, like, a huge part of it. And turns out I ended up working for that IT company a couple years later. Like, that's really bizarre. But basically, yeah, one person in the world knows the software for that particular flight company. And it's just stupid. At my current company, we run a software that can only run in Internet Explorer. And I think that's actually pretty common because at my last job, we implemented 3 different types of help desk type programs, and all of them were IE only. One of them was promised to be Firefox friendly and didn't end up being.
Yeah, we replaced a web app with RT, Request Tracker. It's a pretty good open source one that works in all the browsers.
Oh, that's cool.
Very nice ticket system.
Yeah, very cool.
Also, I got the video to work finally.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, we can play part of this if you guys are interested. You get your hand on the mouser there.
Yep.
All right, here we go. This is back to what?
Do I need to full screen it or anything?
No, okay. Don't, because it'll mess it up. So this was back on the billable time versus non-billable, and the client always trying to get something for free.
Your clients are always trying to rip you off when you're a consultant, especially because they think you really need their business.
Yeah.
When most times you'd be better off without them sometimes.
Yep.
Hi. Is there a problem, sir?
Yes. A quick question about the final total.
Yes.
You see, yeah, we didn't budget for this.
Excuse me?
This was marked 1999.
Yeah.
Well, I've only got $7 set aside for this.
That's too bad, yeah.
So what are we going to do today?
Well, I'd like the highlights, but for now, I can only pay for a trim.
Okay, so today we're only going to do the trim?
No, the highlights, but I can only pay for the trim.
I mean, how much of the taco stand was what?
About $12.
Yeah, right. About $12.
Sir, we're not the taco stand.
No, it was, I had beef, same thing as I had here.
You had the filet.
Yeah, cow.
Okay, let me make a phone call, see what I can do. Maybe I can get you $8.50. Can you do $8.50?
I'll pay for the highlights next time, but for now, I need you to just go ahead and throw them in.
So basically you want me to work for free?
No, I don't want you to work for free. It's just a test. That way I can see if my husband likes it, and then you can roll the cost over until the next time I need color if he likes it.
I went through in line items some of the stuff that wouldn't just remove.
I'm not making any money on this either. You gotta help me out.
We got a discount bin.
I know, I've checked the discount bin, but I want this one. We can do this. This is not a challenge. This is an opportunity.
We tried with 3 entrees.
Oh, yes. You ordered 3 entrees, sir.
We ordered, but it's order mean eating. Yeah, we ate once.
What's your name?
Todd.
You gotta work with me.
That one's $19.99.
Mike, come on, let's do this. Let's do this.
Dude.
Well, I can cover your hard costs, but that's really as far as I'm willing to go.
I'll give you $8.50 today. I'll come back next Tuesday. We're gonna make it up on the next one. What do you say?
What?
Ah, excellent. We'll go ahead and we'll pay this time, but what we're going to need you to do is show us how you made it, so we can do it on our own in-house from now on. You did? It's great dinner.
Yeah, so that just gives you that you could all, even though it's like food and movie rentals, all of that applies to the IT world.
Yes,
it really does.
The best feeling after getting all of that is at some point when you can finally fire the client.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
it's like,
no
sorry,
longer.
we're not going to work with you anymore because you're too ridiculous.
Yeah, it is crazy. Like, okay, well, we should be discounted on that because, you know, your original solution didn't work.
Yeah, well also, I had
it's called troubleshooting, you know?
I had a client who signed up for a demo and then eventually rolled over to a main, like a paid account.
Mm-hmm.
And Scale Engine had this policy where you have to pay a minimum of $25 a month, right? Because it's, you know, it takes work for us to maintain the capacity for you to maybe use something at some point and to bill
Right.
you every month and the paperwork and the taxes and all that stuff. And so it was just easy. And then this one client was like, oh, well, I was like your very first client, so you shouldn't. It's like, you were not our first client.
Oh,
It's
my
like,
gosh.
We did lots of stuff before we even did video. And
Yeah.
you were just an annoying guy from LinkedIn. so you'll pay the $25 or you go away. So he paid the $25 and then he decided to go away and then he came back and now he pays the $25 and still doesn't use it.
Oh, geez. Yeah. The other thing is trying to convince, so back to the billable versus non-billable time,
Yeah.
traveling to and from the client should be billable time. But
Often, yep.
typically that doesn't require your technical expertise that your hourly rate supports,
Yes,
right?
but it's also preventing you from selling that hour to
So-
someone else.
Yes. So our company decided to do like a $45
Right.
trip charge because typically IT consultants bill at least here, don't jump on me guys, but somewhere between $100 and $175 an hour.
Yeah, like when I did it, it was $95 an hour for the basic stuff, and then security and SQL was like $145, and then after hours was plus 50% on top of that,
Right.
and so on.
Yep.
Plus 13% sales tax.
Yeah, so $45 is a substantial discount to
Yes,
that
it's
hourly
like
rate,
less
but they
than half price.
still would have issues with that, and somebody would be sitting at their desk, you know, and you know, yep. Chris got here today, you know, like, and wasn't here today. And so I should only see 3 trip charges. And, oh, you know what? You were absent the day that he was there. So, you know, like just the stupidest things came up. And I say Chris because, both Chris and I worked at that company together, in fact.
Yep.
It was really, it was just really ridiculous. But anyway, that makes it hard because then, I don't know, the best thing about IT consulting, and when I say IT consulting, it's IT for hire, essentially, you know, and people who do their own gig, but that's what we did was IT for hire. That way people didn't have to hire a full-time IT person. That also supports a little bit higher of a rate because they don't have to
'cause
pay
it's
benefits
it's feast and famine all the time too, right? Like the consultants charge more because they only work when you need them to.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so the client saves more and the consultant has to charge more because he has to eat when he's not working.
Right. And maybe, it's hard to find an IT guy that only needs to work 10 hours a week, you know?
Exactly.
So anyway, so one thing that really, really sucks about IT consulting work and network administration, aside from inventory, is writing. Sometimes you have to take notes. You know, if you're meeting with a client, you have to take notes.
Horrible handwriting.
And so does Chris.
Unreadable. No, my mind's like unreadable even by me.
Yeah. And so, you know, obviously we have laptops and you know, iPads and whatever, tablets where we can type stuff or, you know, drag in something for
Naturally speaking, yep.
notes. Yeah. But this is really cool. And you guys will get a kick out of this. Yourfonts.com. You can create a font from your own handwriting.
That's pretty cool.
Which I think is kind of fun because I'm sure a lot of you have really horrible handwriting, but it would be neat to see, like, to type in it and send like a note in your crappy handwriting to a client or something, or just to make one for fun.
Other stuff with it too, though. Like you could draw different glyphs for each character.
Yeah.
Like little, it could be a cool thing to get your kids to do too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, true.
It'd also be like a really cheap, not really encryption, but you can make a message look encrypted by writing the wrong letters. And then only someone that had the same font would be able to read the message.
Yeah. Or like Greek letters.
Yep.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
I used to write in Greek letters, write notes in Greek letters in 7th grade to a guy. Anyway, all right, what did I have next on here? Okay, yeah. Let's see. Okay. All right. I have an email that I'm going to read Allan.
Oh.
It's
right.
It's technically a mail sack. I guess I should do that. Oops.
Yeah, I'm not going to make all the funny noises like Chris. Sorry.
All right. Here, we're ready. Normally Chris does the camera switching, which here we go.
Good job.
Well, you need to say mail sack.
I just said I wasn't going to do it.
No, you don't have to make weird noises, but you're going to say mail sack.
It's mail sack time.
Okay, there it is. Woo!
Yes. Yay. Mail
Okay. Yay, mail sack. Okay. This is really funny. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, webmaster.
Yes.
The termlifeinsurance.org compliance team is working to rebuild its online reputation, and we are currently cleaning up our backlink profile. There is a link to our site on your web property that we have believe may be considered unnatural by Google. Whatever the hell that means.
Yeah.
Please remove the link that says jupiterbroadcasting.com/history-of-420-FauxShow-86. Unfortunately, keeping this link up could negatively influence your site's search engine performance as well as the performance of our site, so it's in your best interest to remove it. We hope to hear from you soon and would be happy to answer any questions you may have. So, my question to you, Allan, and let me just point out that you can always get Allan's opinion. I'm going to say opinion because it's not advice.
Yep.
That's important to say. His opinion on things that you get like this, because I just think it's hilarious. But anyway, so there's my FauxShow 86 history on 420, and of course, let's see, where is it? They did 15 things you should know. So this is their website. I used their little infograph to talk about 15 things about marijuana.
Oh.
But anyway, so so first of all, do you have any idea what they mean by saying that Google, it may be considered unnatural by Google?
Yeah. Your link definitely isn't. Your link is actually correct in this case. Like at first when I read that, I kind of assumed what it meant was whoever had the domain before them was like spamming it and filling comments with fake links to it and stuff, and then they bought it and they're trying to fix the reputation of them, in which case it's their fault for buying a domain with a bad reputation.
Sure.
But it doesn't seem that's what it is because your link still works. Like, and it actually points to content on their website.
Right.
So I don't know what their problem is.
I know. And then the fact that they say, I mean, obviously they're just trying to get us to remove it. That's fine. But it says keeping this link up could negatively influence your site's search engine performance as well as the performance of their site.
Yeah.
Totally
normally
a lie,
you get spam
right?
Normally you get spam like this asking you to trade links with the site, not the other way around.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I know. And like, did they see too many clicks from my show and they
possibly, and
but why would that be a problem? Yeah.
In this case, it's not. Although, if it was some random site that wasn't related to health, or was it life insurance?
Well, the life insurance, it's term life insurance, and they did 15 things you should know about marijuana.
Yeah. So they're kind of thinking that Jupiter Broadcasting isn't related to life insurance.
Oh, the main website.
It's diluting their concentration of what it's about. But in this case, it's creating the link between marijuana and an infographic about marijuana. So it's actually probably making this page more popular in Google.
I would imagine. Now,
I imagine the email you got is automated from some piece of software. Like it looks like a form letter, and so.
Oh no! Well, no. This is our contact form.
Oh, so they actually filled it out.
They actually filled out the contact form. Yeah.
I don't know. It's probably and it's an internal email address too, not like a consultant. I don't know. They're crazy.
Yeah. Well, so I had
it's
a
your
point, but I
website. You
forgot.
get to decide if you want.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So here they didn't just say remove our link from your show notes,
Right.
which I'd be happy to do.
Right.
They say remove their. Let's see. They're okay. They're telling me to remove this page.
The whole page.
This URL up here. Oh, you can't see it.
I can see it.
I know you can.
Well,
That's not helpful. This is a show, Alan.
Yes.
Not show. Anyway.
not a show,
Yeah, they're
but
asking me
it's
to
kind of
remove
pretends to be.
jupiterbroadcasting.com/18847/history dash.
Well, the whole page isn't
420.
about them.
I know. That's
What
what
the
I find weird. Like, so when I did that episode on Sweet Brown and that life insurance or that 1-800-2 homes or
Yeah.
home. Yeah. They contacted me the next day and said, can you please link directly to our site? Because I linked a video that was not on their site.
Right.
I fixed that right away.
Right. You linked the
'Cause-
commercial and yeah.
Right. So anyway, I linked their commercial that I found on somebody else's
Yeah, it's
website.
like the other thing is you didn't deep link just to the image, so it's not like you were stealing their bandwidth with the image. You give the whole
Right.
page.
I know.
So I'd say
Okay.
just ignore them,
Yeah. Okay.
and if they come back and watch the episode, hire a better SEO consultant because your current one is smoking something. That's
I know.
killing
I like
brain
it. Hey,
cells.
webmaster. Okay. All right. Let's see. So then, okay. So I have two quick things that are just silly. Okay. When so Chris and I met. Not this. He's not Chris. He's normally there, but
Yes, people in the chat room have commented that previously when you mentioned Chris, you went to point and then realized that it wasn't Chris.
Chris and I met in high school, and in my junior year, that's when we met and started dating. I decided to take an IT course that I made it like 3 days.
Oh.
But the one thing I did learn from it was the phrase partition the fat.
Yep.
And so that is my solution to every technical issue that Chris has. And it always has been since then.
It's very funny because technically you partition a disk and then format each partition as fat. You can't actually partition the file allocation table.
Okay. And that's why he smiles every time.
Yeah. It's funny because it's just enough buzzword and just close enough to being right, but not.
I'm one of those, at this point, I'm putting myself in the stupid user box, okay? That's
no,
okay.
but that one's in the knows enough to be dangerous box.
That totally would be me. Yeah. I do, because I have had enough experience that, I am kind of dangerous. Okay. Well, the other thing is in the past, so whenever I'm bragging about Jupiter Broadcasting, we have the biggest, best, longest running Linux podcast. What's Linux? And those that really want to know, and I sit down and talk to them about it, I get out a piece of paper. And the last time I did this was with my somebody that I hired to replace me while I was on maternity leave with Dylan.
Right.
So I said, so you have Windows, and I drew a box, and Windows, so you have Windows, and how did I do this? And Linux,
Right.
and Windows is like a colander with big holes in it,
Yeah.
like some noodles fall through, and a lot of little things get through, and Unix,
And all the sauce falls in.
yeah, and Linux/Unix is much more secure. It's like a sugar sifter.
Right.
It has like really small holes and it's really hard to get in. Anyway, and it just, they're like, oh. So anyway, it's so much
funny.
more secure. Anyway,
Yes,
yeah.
that's-
Sifter versus strainer.
There you go.
So, is there anything else that you can think of that we should throw in
I
here?
don't know. Does the chat room have any questions or something?
Yeah. Do you guys have any questions? They're on a delay. I don't know
Yes.
if you know. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
I guess you would know that. You do a
Make
weekly
FS,
show.
Bacon FS. That's funny.
I rep
What
Linux.
would make OS X? OS X would be the strainer like Windows, except for it would be made out of chrome instead of plastic. Or something. And it would cost a lot more.
Yeah. Wait, what
Can
is
I
that?
do more photo shows? No.
Yeah. OS 10 would be the white plastic.
No.
model?
Windows would be the plastic one, and OS 10 would be the one made of like gold or chrome or something.
No, it wouldn't be chrome.
Well, I just mean because it would be shiny.
Okay.
I just picked chrome because it would be shiny. Not 'cause
Yeah.
it would be
Okay.
chrome.
Let's see. What is the meaning of Linux? How would you answer that?
It's Unix made by a guy named Linus. So he kind of just smushed the words together.
Okay. I know. All right. Yeah, OS 10 is built on Unix, right? Is that right? Is that the
They borrow
right way to
parts
say?
of Unix.
Oh, okay.
After they built
But it's still a sifter versus a strainer.
partly.
Well, I've never
Kind of.
had the worry of a virus.
Well, see, that misperception is the problem. Like, we've on 3 or 4 episodes of TechSnap ago, we talked about the new Java exploits are actually coming with a Windows version of the virus and a Mac version of the virus. And
darn Java.
Well, no, but they're just using Java and Flash and,
I know.
and PDF files to find the way to run a virus.
Right.
But basically, newer viruses that are going on websites now are including a second version for the Mac, so the Mac isn't immune anymore.
That sucks because Minecraft uses Java and my backup system uses Java.
If the program is running in Java on your desktop, it's usually not that. Most of those aren't the ones that are causing the problem. It's just. Why did that randomly unmute itself and then remute itself?
Yeah, no, it's like.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, keep going.
I see what happened. Anyway,
I know, right?
It's Java in your browser that can get exploited, right? When it's Java on your desktop, like Minecraft, you'd have to like double click on a virus to run it.
Oh, okay.
But when
I do that all the time.
Right. But when it's built into your browser, the web page can cause it to start automatically. So I know in newer versions of Firefox, they're changing it so Java won't be able to start automatically. There'll be a box where the Java thing's supposed to be, and it's like you have to click it to start it before it.
Okay.
And actually,
Before
all
it
plugins
engaged.
except for Flash are going to have click to start now. And Flash is only not going to have it because it would make everybody really annoyed at YouTube.
Oh, yes. All
And
right.
also, it would kill Flash advertising.
Oh,
And,
yes.
It would make the entire internet economy fall apart.
It's the end of the world. All right. Well, the Faux Show is live on Thursdays now.
Yes.
At 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Which is 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes. And
4 a.m. in the morning UTC.
oh my gosh. Okay. And then we also will be having a newsletter coming out soon. I should just say we sold 641 TechSnap 100 shirts, and the campaign ended. Yeah, the campaign ended 3 days ago, and they should be
Tuesday,
shipping out now.
Yep.
So
I think almost everybody's got their email by now that tells them the estimated date when you should receive your shirt.
cool. And if not, you can type in your order number in. You can go to the same thing, and you can track it. And let's see. Yeah. So if you want to sign up for the newsletter, you can find out certain stuff there. You can go to bit.ly/Jupiter Signal.
Yes. Once you do get your TechSnap T-shirt, the Faux Show wants pictures of you wearing your shirt in random places and so on.
Yes, that would be good. Murphy emailed me, and I didn't do a full mail sack tonight, but he emailed me asking when the next award show will be. Well, that might be it, depending on what kind of submissions or how many submissions we have.
I know I won't get my T-shirt until March 26th.
Yeah, mine says 19th through 20 something.
I'm international, so mine will take a little bit longer.
Yeah. So anyway,
but that actually worked out better because I don't get back from Japan until the 20th.
Oh yeah, right. Okay. Well, that is it for this episode of FauxSNAP.
FauxSNAP.
Well, we'll see you next week, but we'll be a Faux Show again. Don't forget, you can catch recent episodes of The Faux Show on
JupiterBroadcasting.com/Faux Show.
Also, get them on demand in the iTunes store. Search for Faux Show.